if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, I'm not sure it's going to be for a while, if you know what I mean. If you want to put more yay in every single day, well, maybe we've got some answers for you. Mary Savarese can help. She can help you achieve that yay. And let's face it, this year has been a really non-yay day or year with this awful pandemic. So many losing their lives, loss of jobs, people being evicted, food lines. Boy, we have not seen this since the Great Depression. So how do we make it through these bad times? Now, Mary could be a lifesaver, as she says. How about a hobby or two? I'm not sure that'll do it, but we're going to talk about it. Hers was writing books, like Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume. Who knew? And she has another project coming in the spring. We'll find out about that, too. Mary, it's a pleasure to have you with us on the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary Jane. It is such a pleasure and honor to be with you today. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Well, it's one of those times that we say, yes, we get up in the morning and we go, oh, that's right. We can't have a good day today because, we know the pandemic is still out there. We know people are still dying and, the vaccines are coming. There's some hope there. But what do you consider a yay day?
Okay. What I would consider a yay day is we're all faced with the same situation, right? Many of us are spending more time at home, be it with our children, our jobs, and just as you said, with the pandemic, it seems we can't be visiting all these places we normally would. So what I'm looking at is maybe searching for something you've had on the back burner all these years, something that when you think about it gives you thrills and makes your heart race in a good way. And maybe you haven't been able to approach it because of time restraints, other responsibilities. But let me say, let's put that yay in your life and let's start thinking about something like that. Something that we'd like to call it a hobby, but it's something, I'd like to say it's something that you strive for in your soul, something you love. And let's bring it out.
Okay, so how do you, what if you don't have something that's been lurking back there in the back of your mind, but maybe you're looking for something new? So
okay,
what do we do?
What do we do? I say start asking yourself several questions. Is there something that interests you? Could it be volunteering? And I don't mean to just look for something for the sake of something. I'm saying, we all know what thrills us and what excites us. Look for that. Is it volunteering? Is it gardening? Is it something you've enjoyed doing in the past but weren't able to reach for? Sometimes out of something bad, something good will happen. Now, for example, for myself, many years ago, I became an empty nester. And with that came this, anxiety that wasn't there before.
There's a void. There's a void.
Yeah, there was a void, exactly. And something I had on the back burner was I wanted to write. And I started to write, and that became my hobby. It gave me such joy. Listen, things didn't happen overnight. It truly was a hobby, and it took me a long, long time, many manuscripts and many rejections. But it was something that came out of something that was not a pleasant time in my life. So there are different avenues that we have that we can explore.
Now, a lot of folks are in that kind of situation. Families leaving with the pandemic, they're stretched thin. There's depression, there's isolation. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. How do you get a person to, be positive about stuff? Because there's not a whole lot of positive going on out there right now.
Good point. Sometimes maybe let's just start our day out with a little prayer. If you're a spiritual person, let's try to think positively instead of negatively. And sometimes that can help you. And I realize it takes a lot nowadays to stay positive. But sometimes, as they say, let's begin with showing gratitude for what we do have. Mm-hmm. And that will give you maybe a positive sense, and you keep building on that.
Okay, that's good. So, and sometimes you may have to try a couple, three, because maybe you think you like something, and then you try it and you go, nope, not for me.
Exactly. And you know what? Don't make it something that you're forcing upon yourself. That's not the type of hobby that may even possibly become a career for you. It's something you're forcing on yourself. But look, sometimes try this. If it doesn't work out, hey, I like this. Try that. And you never know. Something just might click, and your heart will be racing. You'll get the thrill, the enjoyment of waking up each day and tackling this new hobby in your life.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking the other day, I thought, what I need to do is put a big canvas out in the back deck and just throw paint at it. It's just, I know that sounds silly, but it just sounded like a good idea.
Oh, I think that's a wonderful idea. Little glass of wine. I think you would find that so relaxing, gets your tensions out, just, trying to paint even just throwing paint on this canvas. I mean, what a project. I think that's something quite enjoyable. I'll tell you the
reason I thought about it, Mary. This was a number of years ago, and I went to an art gallery, and beautiful art on the walls, and I came up on this one canvas that was just pure white. Mm-hmm. Nothing else on there, just pure white all over. And it was a big honker. And I said, well, this is not art. It's a canvas that you painted white, Yeah. And they said, no, it's called Blizzard. And I'm going, I thought, if this can be, and it was selling for a good price,
Okay. I love it. Now, why didn't we think of that?
Yes,
right?
Thank you. Exactly. It really upset me. I thought, I could do that. I could paint it all white and call it Blizzard or Snowstorm or something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Or let's paint the canvas black and say night.
Nighttime, okay. Yes. Oh, no, call it noir. It sounds better.
Exactly.
But again, people, I think, they get so caught up in having too much entertainment around us. We still have a lot of entertainment because we've got the internet. You got your phone. You got, Netflix and all this kind of thing. We're bombarded with stuff. And we don't really think about anything that comes from within ourselves and out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes, I agree.
So you got to sometimes do a little soul searching. It sometimes it's hard to make the first move, I guess.
Exactly. But now in these times, just maybe make yourself make that move. Sometimes that's what we need.
But maybe we need to take classes on something too. I mean, we may not be very proficient at what we want to do. So we want to get better.
Exactly. There is so much online because of this pandemic with Zoom and every other which way. What is open to us is incredible, and that might be the best place to start if we don't have any ideas. Start with a couple of things and see what you think about it.
Now, you wrote this novel called Tigers Love Bubble Baths, okay? I love the name of it.
Thank you. Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume, who knew? And I would so love to share the story of how the title originated.
Please. Yeah.
Well, several years ago, I visited a wildlife sanctuary in St. Augustine, Florida. Mm-hmm. Technically, it is a nursing home for big cats. Now, when I say big cats, I mean lions, tigers, panthers, cougars, big cats that were basically tossed aside, maybe left over from a movie or a TV show, a circus. Believe it or not, even people that thought they could buy a tiger as a pet.
Stupidity.
And then decided, wait, tiger's going to take my head off. They will call this wildlife preserve in St. Augustine, and the owner, Deborah Warwick, will take these beautiful creatures and really give them a beautiful home. Well, the last part of the tour was we came upon this galvanized tank overflowing with bubbles. The tank was 16 feet wide by 4 feet wide, by 4 feet high. Whoa. And I'm wondering, what is this? What is this for? Okay. A door slides up, and out comes this amazing 600-pound, beautiful Siberian tiger.
Wow. Walking
across plank and looking as though he was taking off a robe. He slips into the bubbles and sits there. The bubbles are overflowing. He's loving it. Now, what cats love water? Well, tigers love water. And he looked like he was expecting a cocktail. And sure enough, the wildlife caregiver sprayed Obsession perfume on the tiger's tongue.
No.
Now, she does have a screen between her and the tiger, I do have to say, and the audience, too, watching this. But we're close enough that everybody's just awestruck. So I said to myself, that is the title of my next manuscript. Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume, who knew? And I crafted it into a mystery romance.
No kidding.
Yeah. But people love the title, absolutely love the title.
Yeah. It's just one of those things I think people kind of scratch their heads. And how many times, and I know you've heard this from some people, but I don't have any talent on anything. I don't know what to write about. There's nothing I know of, different. And that's just not true, is it?
I don't believe that's true. I believe that each of us has something within us, whether you want a thank you note or a short story. And how do you begin with that? You have an idea in the back of your head. Sit down, write a sentence. That's all. Don't think of it in the scope of whatever number of pages. Think of it word by word, line by line. And maybe that's something you'll find interesting, and your idea will start developing. But again, as you said, we've got classes we can take. There's so much out there for prospective writers that can just help you along. It's absolutely wonderful.
Now, I do have to ask you, really a Siberian tiger in a bubble bath? I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
A 600-pound Siberian tiger. Loved it.
They love bubble. Do other tigers love bubble baths?
Yes, every single tiger loves bubble baths. You can go online and just Google it, and you'll see pictures of tigers in bubble baths. It's a riot.
And Obsession perfume on their tongue, isn't that kind of like, not poisonous, but that can't be healthy for them?
Well, I would say, if we sprayed it on our tongue, I would say, okay, yes, poisonous, but not for the tigers. They actually use Obsession perfume. There are pheromones in this perfume that the male tigers love. It lulls them. It calms them. And they love it. It's a wonderful cocktail for them.
No kidding. That is so amazing. Okay. So what's your next project?
Well, my next project is a trilogy, a young adult fantasy adventure. And I'm beginning with the first book in the trilogy is titled The Girl in the Tall Wallpaper. It's a fantasy adventure. And it's in the works now. So there's quite a bit of time involved in editing. So we're looking at it being published next year.
Now, where do these ideas come from? I know where the one with the bubble baths came now, but these others, I mean, do you dream about it? Stephen King had nightmares about his. But, you know, how do you come about the ideas?
Well, I'll tell you. The manuscript that was published was a mystery romance, but the genre that I love is fantasy adventure. So that's, I mean, just writing gives me thrills. But when I get into a fantasy type of idea, that's what gets my heart racing and my pulse soaring, and the ideas keep flowing. So, and it's not something I have, the whole scheme of things, the whole picture in my head. It develops.
Huh. Do you know the end before you start?
Do I know the end?
Yeah.
You know what? I do have an inkling of the end, but sometimes what happens is by the time you get to it, it may change.
Oh.
I may add something. I may say, oh, this can be a continuation of possibly, another, a second in the series. So
that's amazing. So now your kids are grown, right? And they left.
Kids, yep. We're empty nesters. They've flown the coop, thank God.
How many did you have? How many do you have?
Three.
Okay, yeah, that's
you don't realize it at the time. As I said, I mean, it was anxiety-provoking for me when they left, and the reason was I had to come to terms with my family unit. I don't want to shock anybody when I say this, but I'll explain it.
Okay.
That my family unit was dead. Now, what I mean by dead is not dead. I mean the babies that I raised, the toddlers I played with, the teenagers, the ones in college. Those have moved on. And it's great, but I had to first come to terms with that, and that's where my writing truly helps me.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's got to come from someplace deep in a person. Almost any hobby does. You have to be obsessed. You want to do it as much as you possibly can.
You hit the nail right on the head, Mary Jane. You're obsessed. You want to do it as much as you can. And you know what? The time flies. You'll know it. The time flies when you're doing it, and when you leave it, you want to get back to it.
Yeah. It's amazing because now, this may sound strange because I've been doing talk shows on radio and television for 46 years.
Beautiful.
But I don't consider it work. I consider it more of a hobby.
There you go.
Because I love it. Every morning I get to talk to people like you and, doctors and lawyers and almost any subject, because I do not like talk shows where it's only one subject. I get bored.
Yep.
I get bored very easily. I like variety. And so, this gives me that opportunity. That's, to me, it is sort of a hobby because I get so much information from so many different people and lives.
Yeah, and isn't it wonderful that you have that joy, and somebody should be interviewing you?
Well, I do. Periodically I do because I've written a book myself. But it's not... I almost feel sorry for anybody who interviews me, to be honest with you, because what happens is it lands up, I still do the interview. So it's like, after 46 years, it's like, okay, just say hello and I'll take it from here.
Sure. You can't let go. I understand that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I just think it's wonderful that you found your passion. You found your passion, and that's what you want people to do, is to find their passion. And like I said, we look to everyone else to find it for us, or be entertained by everyone around us. And we've got to get back to some basics again.
And guess what? That joy is truly within each one of us.
Yeah.
And it takes us to find what we love, because only we know that.
Right. Well, because, look, we got this pandemic, which is tragic. It's very tragic. But you still found joy because of your passion. Mm-hmm. And that's good.
Exactly.
Nice to know.
Exactly. It gives me reason to wake up in the morning.
Oh, that's nice. How much are you one of the writers that writes so many pages a day or so many words a day, or is just as it comes?
I think as it comes, I have a goal. I want to write so many pages a day, and sometimes I meet it and sometimes I don't. But I like to try to stay ahead of it, and because I enjoy it, and usually I like to stick with one project at a time. It's sometimes I think I can move around, maybe start another, but I end up sticking with the one thought.
Good for you. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It is www.MaryKSavarese, and that K is the alphabet K, and Savarese is spelled SAVARESE.com.
And, of course, the book, which is, your Tiger Bubble book. Where's that available?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I'm on Amazon. I'm in the bookstores, Barnes & Nobles. I'm on Walmart online, Target online. Just put in Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume, and I'll come right up.
Terrific. Do you have an audio book yet?
No, not yet.
Got to have an audio book. That seems to be.
Got to have that next.
That's the hot stuff going on right now.
It certainly is.
It gives people someone that they can care about and that hopefully cares about them. When you have an audio book, I think. That's just my personal opinion. I love reading books, but I love the old-fashioned books. I know they've got Kindle and you can, go all that kind of stuff. And that's great if you're traveling, which not a whole lot of people are doing these days, and because it's handy to have it on Kindle. But, man, there's nothing like curling up with a book in your hand. I don't know what it is. It's something magical.
You said it, yeah. That's wonderful.
And it's the smell of the book, it's the feel of the book, it's the atmosphere it creates. Can't ask for anything more.
I know, and I hope we never lose that feeling.
No, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. You put a little yay in my day.
Oh, and it's been such an honor and so much fun to spend this time with you, Mary Jane. I thank you.
You betcha. You take good care of yourself and stay well.
Thank you, and same to you.
Thank you. Once again, that's Mary Savarese, Savarese, Savarese. And the name of the book, I love it. It says, Tigers Love Bubble Baths and Obsession Perfume. Who knew? Now we know. In the meantime, as I always say, we love having you on the show with us, folks. Because we can find so many different topics to talk about. And by the way, if you have an idea of what you want me to talk about, just the subject matter, that's all I need. Believe me, I've got tons of people to talk about just about any subject that you can possibly think of. So, email me, MaryJane at KAHI, K-A-H-I, MaryJane at KAHI.com, and I'll be glad to get some people and experts in the field. I love all these people that I talk to all the time. Mary's one of them. In the meantime, live simply, laugh often, love deeply, and above all else, dare to dream. Remember, if you don't have a dream, how are you going to make the dream come true? Talk with you next time, right here on Poppoff.
Cross miles and miles of golden sand, but now it's over and done. 'Cause that was yesterday, and yesterday's gone.